Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Today's AI session. Today's Global Chamber Monthly AI series is all about automation and AI, but a little bit different perspective or different use case, let's say. The title is Smart Factories in Action: How Automation and AI are Transforming Industrial Operations. And we're going to talk about how one of the members, Joe Rogers, CEO at WorkDone, is working for factories, automating their back office. And I'm going to talk about a trade show, a big trade show in Barcelona from May 5th to 7th. It is called Advanced Factories, all about Industry 4.0, and we talk about AI and automation and robotics and everything else, what's happening in factories. So is Joe available now? No. So
Yes.
anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for coming today. And we pre-recorded this session because you're not going to be available today. And thank you really for coming. And I'd like to introduce you with your face. Just one moment. I put this. So the first speaker is Joe. He's a technologist and entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience. Through his company, WorkDone, such a great name, WorkDone, he's building an AI platform focused on understanding how work actually happens inside organizations. It doesn't have to be only factories, but it happens that he does manufacturing clients, and he's automating their operations, back office operations. Is it right, Joe?
That is correct, Yuka. Thank you.
So without further ado, I would like to pre-recorded video, show the pre-recorded video, but would you please share how can we reach out to you if anybody wants to know about your solutions or your work?
Sure. Yeah. So again, I appreciate the Global Chamber so much for making this possible and inviting me on. My company, I'm Joe Rogers, CEO and founder of WorkDone.ai. That's like getting work done, work done. And the website is workdone.ai. If you want to reach out, or on LinkedIn, Joseph Rogers, WorkDone. You can find me there. It's to kind of sum up, we go into great detail, Yuka and I did, I guess, a few days ago, because I wasn't going to be available to stay for the duration today. But factory automation and manufacturing in general, this is a sort of they're at a tipping point in like history, global history right now. It's insane. And what work done does really, we sort of AI transformation as SaaS software, if you can imagine that. It's quite the on-ramp. I see a hand is up. Is there a question? Uh,
Does anybody wants to talk? Please.
Sorry, that it's me. It's Doug,
Uh-huh.
and sorry, I'm
No,
driving,
it's
but
okay.
you're starting to get to where my question was, and I'm not sure if you were about to answer this, but it's amazing what's happening right now in industry generally. You gave this recording the other day. What should our takeaways be? You have to step away during the recording, so we can't, after the recording is over, have you summarize what our takeaway is. But we have the luxury of having you ahead of the video. So what should we take away from the video?
You've invented a time machine. This is amazing. So in like, yeah, 40 minutes, the takeaways will be everybody is, I think everybody's kind of realizing that they have to deal with like this AI transformation issue. There's always going to be some laggards, some people sort of waiting as long as possible. Um, but we are an on-ramp. Work done observes knowledge workers, which trains up your own um, expertise, sort of knowledge base of operational best practices and ways that your work gets done to get the best result. That's the corporate memory. And once you have your corporate memory, which is created, you don't have to lift a finger, it just observes. And we talk about that. Uh, Once it's observed and the corporate memory is there, through a copilot, you can get all this information on your process, not just your content. And then agentic, basically bespoke agents are created from the observation to solve specific choke points, inefficiencies. It's the human in the middle, customized for customers. So I sometimes I get a little techie, but suffice to say, it becomes a corporate asset, and we should, a lot of companies put Copilot out onto, hundreds of desktops and like saw nothing come back. And AI transformation isn't just this software, it's this from the very beginning, there has to be an understanding company-wide that this is happening and everybody has to pull in the same direction. And some people will leave. But the result is try to keep your people. Do not cut headcount. And you're like throwing away this like valuable commodity that, to hire new people and train them. Like it doesn't make sense. We repurpose them in the direction that the company says it wants to go. And we help with that as well. So that the takeaway is, we're all in this AI transformation, whether we want to or not. And the companies that get it and start to have a roadmap that they can act on with the insights, um, they're going to survive, and those who wait will not survive. And
So
with
thank
that
you.
happy
Yeah.
note,
Mm.
I'll I can okay, yeah, I can do like 3 more minutes.
Uh,
Is there another
Yeah.
question, Doug?
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
Is
Okay.
it okay?
Well, then
So,
I'll let Yuka, you can play the
mhm,
recording, and
okay.
I'll follow up about Barcelona,
Okay. Thank you.
Malaga, right? It's Malaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's Malaga. There's another trade show in Malaga in June. So we talk about it. Thank you very much and have a nice trip if you're traveling again. And
Yes.
here's the recording.
Okay.
Let's
Take
see.
care now. Bye.
Take care. Can you hear? Can you hear the
We cannot.
No, okay, just 1 minute. Thank you very much for coming today. And I know you're very busy. That's the reason why we are doing the recording, which is not our style so far. But we would like to know what you do and how you do it. And here we have Joe Rogers. Please present your work. The floor is yours.
Uh, Thank you very much, Yuka. It's a pleasure to be here. Before diving into the presentation, I'll just give a short introduction. My name is Joe Rogers. I'm the CEO and founder of WorkDone. WorkDone.ai. We have a service, a suite of service, but we're really an AI transformation company, and more on that later. I personally went to Harvard at the age of 14 in summer school and matriculated at 16 and was in the first graduating class of the computer science department, which was newly minted. It was applied math before that. And so that was, decades ago. But since then, I've been consulting for a couple decades to enterprise-wide sort of Fortune 1000 type financial services, uh, e-commerce, a lot of energy, a lot of insurance, Southeast Asia, Middle East, all over the US, County of Los Angeles, City of New York. Actually volunteered to work at the medical examiner's office on 9/11. I had to run when the first tower came down. I was working in Lower Manhattan. So that's a whole nother story. If we have time, we can get to that. But suffice to say, I was on a consulting project, uh, well, about 10 years ago when I had an idea like of how I could automate myself as a consultant. And that idea, I went off and got a patent on it. And it is basically the foundation of this company, WorkDone. So, um, any questions? Did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, it's 10 years ago, you said.
That's when I had the idea and filed for the patent. Yeah.
So much before people started to talk about it,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Work Done was founded in 2017.
Mm, wow. Right.
So
I, yeah,
go on.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so that intro really plays into it. Like in terms of my career, um, I started out with a company called FileNet, and they pioneered document imaging, like digital versions of scanned paper or microfilm. And now it's enterprise content management, and so Dropbox and Drive are sort of the retail commercial tools. But then there's much more industrial, like IBM and EMC, et cetera. A lot of big business. So FileNet created that industry. They also created workflow, the getting one image from one desk to another or one device to another, so that somebody could look at it and make a decision. Like that was in the late 80s. So it was long before business process management and robotic, automation, and it's allowed me to see the evolution of this industry. And one thing I've noticed is there's these systems of record, like CRM, ERP, human capital management, whatever, and then the human in the middle. The knowledge worker is like interfacing with all of these systems, and that's where the value really in any company resides, is in those people. And eventually these people go to greener pastures. Hopefully, it's great if they stay, but in reality, they generally leave at some point. Did you have a question?
No, this is very interesting because you're already picturing like an image, the humans in the center, right? It's not like human in the group, but human in the center interacting with all these tools. So that's great. And I can't wait to see your presentation.
Okay, very good. So thank you for saying that. It is human centric, and not just from the software perspective, but we set up Work Done as a public benefit corporation to sort of address this oncoming impact that AI is going to have on, labor. So, but that again, if we have time for it later, we can get to it. So, so suffice to say, there's the kind of the old way of doing things, which is, rapidly changing. And then there's sort of the consulting industry, which I'll get to. But I saw this as automate, the consulting, or at least sort of the front end assessment, sort of like understanding the existing process, and then like sometimes only an external third-party consultant can see stuff. If you're in the business, then if you're an employee, it's hard to like see things. But coming from the outside, like, oh, and I've seen the insides of so many large companies and the cultures, so it's very quick for me to like sort of put my finger on something. Um, but this is without, setting foot on site. I used to read the carpet tread. I could tell where the Xerox was. It was like it was really, so, so yeah. So I'm going to shift on over to the slide deck now. As I mentioned, AI is I worked on as an AI transformation company because we literally it is holistic. It's not just throwing a chat bot or Microsoft Copilot out on a bunch of desktops and then expecting like the miracle of AI. It's much more than that, and we help companies from the get-go understand where they are and then how best to apply AI. So um, there we go. Again, about me, bachelor's in computer science from Harvard. I have been in the industry since the late 80s and have a separate consultancy that's an IBM business partner through which, again, very big name customers. And recently went through the Techstars incubator, which was a lot of fun, I have to say, after being sort of self-employed as long as I have been. Going through this thing, I learned quite a bit. So just this particular deck is sort of entry level for the general public. It's not really specific, so I'm going to keep it high level. But the benefits of AI, I mean, I think at this point we all kind of know what AI is and how it can help, and it's in the news. There's a lot of baggage along with it, but the benefits are undeniable in terms of process efficiency, reduced labor costs, increased quality, the ability to scale, and actually our platform is specifically it's data driven. There's no spreadsheet in the middle where things get fudged. It's factual, and then the customer experience is dramatically impacted. Enhanced compliance, employee morale, and a quick story about that, and then our actual patented corporate memory. We have well, I'm going to get ahead of myself, so I'll hold that story till later. So the big question with most companies, as we talked earlier, it's like, where do we start? We hear all about it, but what's going to give us the best return? Which process should we automate first? And usually when you do that, you hire a consultant to come in and help you out. But as I mentioned earlier, consultants, let's just say there's a lot of fat in that industry that can be cut in terms of excess or low value, that and legal. But you'll see on the slide here, McKinsey charged the U.S. government $56,000 a week for a person who just graduated college, which is like, yeah, you can't really support that or defend it. And I like the Ottawa here. They hired a consultant to tell them how not to pay consultants. So anyway, moving on. How are we doing on time, Yuka?
We're doing okay.
Okay, very good. So I mentioned we're an AI transformation company. It starts with the assessment, which is a 6-week engagement, which actually generates basically it's like an X-ray. I call it a glucose monitor for your company because it just sort of monitors in the background what's actually going on, where your inefficient problems are, processes are, where the bottlenecks are, things that can be changed, cost saving, automation opportunities, and that generally using our sort of methodology, our software, it identifies these opportunities with the low-hanging fruit that you can move on quickly. And we use a number of different technologies to do that. This automation you're seeing here represents an actual customer where we were monitoring sales orders coming in from Microsoft Outlook into SAP, and the different sales admins have different processes. There's Acrobat Reader here, Nuance. They were like annotating the documents. These loopbacks are like the first thing you look at, like that's wasteful. Sometimes we see ping-ponging between nodes. Those nodes could be people or departments or applications. So that's like first place to look. And then as you look there, it's like a lot of opportunities present themselves for like where to deploy robotic process automation or AI or just changing the process with no technology at all. It's just people, they come into a job, they're taught to do it a certain way. The way they were taught might not be the best way. And then 2 or 3 system upgrades later, people are just doing it because that's how they've always done it. And so our product is like a laser beam that cuts across all that process debt. So I mentioned our sort of secret sauce is expertise capture, and this is our patented. So I meant we process the inbound work coming from outside, and there's a learning path up top where we run analytics on the type of work. It could be an insurance claim, it could be a loan application, it could be a work order, it could be an invoice. And then we run analytics on the actual what happens on the glass, what the knowledge worker is doing on their workstation. And then we capture the outcomes and determine the best practice and store that in the customer's corporate memory. So this is their bespoke sort of knowledge base of best practices, observed best practices, not best practices in some folder on a shelf gathering dust, but like what you're actually doing to achieve the ideal result is stored here. And this gets more and more valuable with every passing day. And it runs in the background. There's no training, there's no friction, there's no adoption. There's no reason not to do this because you're learning and fortifying your own organization. People come and go. It's like the knowledge remains. So once the corporate memory is trained up, we split down the execution path. And that is where we have our worked on agents. We call it WAGent for short. Basically, it's virtual, but basically running under the auspices of the corporate memory. The corporate memory provides the guardrails. It provides sort of like the outcome. It's like, no, sort of err towards taking care of the customer instead of error towards saving on a transaction, like that sort of thing. It's like cultural. So everything you see on the screen up until here is behind the scenes, as I mentioned. There's no friction, no disruption, no training required. In the case of exceptions or maybe new types of transactions, new vendors, whatever, we have something called agent review, and this is where our user interface where we documents the content, the data, and then let the humans decide what to do with it. And that is basically it's agentic. It's like it's generated bespoke for that specific use case. It's not Salesforce, and you have to work the way Salesforce works. This is like the shoe built around your foot. So that is the human in the loop. And then the last piece, which ties it all together, is the outcome slide here. And this outcome is basically the results of the audit trailing systems of record. So with this, we could tell days later or 7 months later, oh, you know what? This transaction actually did not work out, and here's why. And we swim back upstream, make sure that the corporate memory is trained on only the best practices. We can, train on the worst practices as well. but there's actually value to that. So this is behind the scenes, and it's leveraging something that most companies, every company has, and they don't even use. It's the audit logs from their systems of record. So it's like, why not? You know, you're doing all this stuff and you're using this to train your own corporate memory, which will, it lives on sort of, it versions knowledge. Like you could go back 2 years and say, how do we process this claim? Well, back then, this is how we did it. And boom, like it's very powerful. So, any questions on this slide, Yuka?
This is and no questions, but I took some note because you do capturing the work, and there's execution, and there's a loop with outcome feedback and agent review, human in the loop, and it's always refreshed, always kind of reviewed. So that's what I see, right? And
Exactly.
all this is software, as I understand,
All of it.
right?
There's, I will say, there is some consulting methodology
Mm-hmm.
from years of experience in my partners
Mm-hmm.
where we are not attempting to get to 100% SaaS,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 95%
Yeah.
with 5% human review. Like I'm really okay with that. And I
Mm-hmm.
find it scaling that, letting that limit my scaling. I probably, you know, I know that investors don't care to hear that, but you know, it's like this is uh the what we're really doing is disrupting traditional consulting methodology.
Yeah.
We can 24/7 capture much greater granularity as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to consultants walking around looking over shoulders at interviewing people, asking questions, being very disruptive and just crushing morale. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like people don't talk about that and, you know, hard nosed, like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, come on. It's like so, it's like knuckle draggers. So I'm sorry. So the idea here is to not only be able to get that initial insight and provide an initial roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
but it's to allow the company to on their own continuously get better because the observation continues as the benefits are deployed, and then there's new data, things change. And it's sort of like, oh, you know what? We hadn't even thought of that. Well, and the system is suggesting or providing this insight, saying, look at this, and then it eventually, you know, it's going to probably plateau, but the safety you've just engendered, and the part that we touched on earlier, we are basically observing how people their time frees up. There is less work that comes to them. So then their jobs transform. They move from tactical to strategic, and their just job like work satisfaction goes up. They're now using, you know, their creativity, their brains instead of being automatons.
Like you said, that in Ottawa, consultants were working for a report on how they cut the cost of consulting, right? Something like that.
Yes.
And this case, for example, did you see the company laid off people because they had more time? I mean,
Yeah, I think I did see that story. It's like, well, it's poor planning. I mean, management should be shot before those people.
hmm. So it's not the aim of this software or your work to shrink the workforce, but one of the results can be less people working. Wow.
Unavoidably, unavoidably.
Mm,
It's already starting to happen. That is correct.
okay.
And and I actually struggled with that early on with
Mm,
the our invention here. It's like I'm like, oof,
mm,
I'm going to be putting people on the street a little faster than they would have been.
mm.
And I didn't want to move fast and break stuff. I actually wanted to be responsible for, what happens, which I don't
Wow.
know if that's popular, but
But
it
you
was
can't do
important to me.
anything because it's the company doing that. I mean, you're just implementing the system to enhance their operations and productivity, right?
So, right. And so the client, I mean,
Mm,
it's totally their call as to how
mm,
they, but we do have sort of a going in position as to what to do with people who are freed up. Like this
mm,
person's good at this. We kind of skip profile skill
mm,
sets and be like, you know what? Actually, given your stated 5-year plan or 3-year plan,
mm,
you should use this person for this.
mm.
Sort of an AI powered, reorg.
So when you work with a small company, smaller companies, maybe they don't have the skilled HR people with competency models and blah blah blah. So maybe you need to pitch in this type of advice as well. I mean, corporate maybe they have full stack of competency models and how to relocate the employees from here to here, but depending on the size of the companies, right? And what is your target audience? What the size?
Yeah, so our technology, it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It works it's cross industry. Some people see scissors, some people see a knife, some people see like a screwdriver. It's
Mhm,
right now we are targeting manufacturing.
mhm,
You know,
okay.
yeah, sort of mid-size and up. Uh,
Mhm,
but we're
okay.
also looking at my previous my consultancy. We engaged LegalZoom for over 10 years.
Mm,
We basically took them paperless, and so we have a lot of that experience in our legal
mhm,
AI assessment,
mhm,
AI transformation assessment offering. So we have these assessments that are like oriented towards industry, but they're actually, we can, any company, our requirements are minimum
mhm,
20 seats,
mhm,
20 seats and up. And like with regards to manufacturing, 50
mhm,
million and up to a billion in revenue is
mhm,
what we're targeting. And a lot of these companies, like we have
mhm,
this customer, they're over 60 years old, a manufacturing customer, telecommunications,
mm,
and there's just so much opportunity once we
mm,
start our process, and it's literally painless. There's no change. We do suggest up front with prospects that we have a town hall with everyone that we're going to be working with, so
mm,
that they can ask us questions directly, not through a third party,
mhm,
so we can explain, look, it's not Big Brother. We don't care about that.
mm,
That it's in the back of everyone's head. We're observing the process. Not they have a
mm,
manager to make sure they do their work. I don't,
mm,
that's not my thing. My thing is the process and generating the
mhm,
ideal outcome.
mhm,
And once we actually ideal the best, realize or discern the best way to do
mhm,
that from our data, from our processing, we tell that worker like this is the best way to do this,
mhm,
and they're like,
mhm,
oh wow, thanks. So
mhm,
and it's really interesting because when we for our agentic automation sort of phase, we
mhm,
the deliverables come, every 6 weeks, every four
mhm,
to six weeks, depending on how fast the company can move. But it's very
mhm,
agile when these sprints are
mhm,
quick,
mhm,
and then the sort of the student body, the staff, starts receiving to their second deliverable, their third deliverable, and they start using it, and they're like, wait a
mhm,
second. They start having ideas like, well, wait,
mhm,
can you automate this? Can you automate that? Like I want to, and
mhm.
then all the ideas just start flooding in. It's a lot of fun actually.
Wow. So you said you did a lot of legal firms going to paperless and automated, and then
Yeah.
you're
Well,
now
it was legal Zoom, but yes, we have We're looking at manufacturing, we're looking at legal and M&A.
And they're different because manufacturing may be involving some kind of physical process. They're
Sure.
producing products, right?
Right,
In
but this is
in
the back
factories.
office. So starting with, say, a sales order coming in,
Mm-hmm,
order entry, checking inventory, checking
mm-hmm,
credit,
mm-hmm.
getting the parts, and then it goes out onto the shop floor, which is the
Okay.
factory automation we
Mm-hmm,
talked about. But then once the thing is put together, it's back into inspection and testing, and then like packaging and shipping and invoicing and
mm-hmm,
the delivery and accounts receivables. So we have that process is called order to cash. Sometimes it's
mm-hmm,
called lead to cash from sales lead all the way through. And being able to process that across departments,
mm-hmm,
again, it turns it's that sort of cash conversion cycle tweak. We can save people on cash flow just by telling
mm-hmm,
them to do things a little bit differently once we
mm-hmm,
start, observing the process. So it's very valuable.
mm-hmm. Yeah, this is very interesting because when I hear manufacturing companies doing automation or implementing AI, the first thing I think is the factory plant, like the floor, to be automated, to be implemented AI and blah blah blah. But of course, there's a back office, there's a process you know, like these to cash, of course. And yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't think about that. So
Yeah.
when I go to the trade fair, maybe I'm going to see if there's anything like that, because we have a big trade show coming right now in Barcelona around factory automation, advanced
Yes.
factories, and looking into not only automation, but any kind of digitization, AI implementation. So um, maybe you need to come and explain what you do.
Yeah, that's it's funny. I'm heading to Boston soon for a presentation. We'll have to talk about that offline, Yuka. It
Oh,
sounds really interesting. All
right?
those factories have a back office, so
Yeah.
but I think, that's more robotics is what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, yeah. Robotics as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So I'll just get through the rest of this slide. So
Yes,
you can
please.
see basically we're our methodology, again, it's behind the scenes. So whatever you're using, whatever your tech stack is, or your Microsoft, your AWS, or whatever, it doesn't matter to us. We are agnostic. We're not necessarily claiming to be experts in SAP or anything. We are experts in everything. So our approach lets us basically observe and surface these insights very, frictionlessly and painlessly, quickly, and
Mhm.
then the next step is like, well, what do you want to do with this information? All of a sudden, senior management at this company is like, they're just like going crazy because they have all this information that they didn't have before. And there's a lot of ideas. And then they get very excited. And, they may go internally. We've had a company say thank you. And then, they used their own team. And then 4 years later, they came back and hired us again for a second engagement. And then they asked us to do it. So, which is great. That's the way it's supposed to work. So the actual offering, just to see it all in one place, where is the AI transformation assessment, and it's a combined. It's the report that I talked about, and the as well as the dashboard highlighting the insights. So it's an annual subscription. But that
Mhm.
first 6 weeks is when you get like all the hard analysis. And it's basically like a McKinsey uh, report at a legal Zoom price is what it is. And then the customer can, chew on that for a while, or they can actually ask work done to provide the agentic automation,
Mhm.
and that's where they get the sprints. So it's very rapid.
Wow.
So I think probably oh Yes, and this was, I mentioned LegalZoom earlier. This Frank Monastere was the president of LegalZoom during our 10 years there, and and he had a nice endorsement for me.
Wow. What type of company is this? This is a law
See,
firm?
Americans are very familiar with LegalZoom. I'm sorry, I should have explained. So they, around 1999, they basically they took over all the paralegal work. So for
Oh,
like business formation, incorporation, DBAs, internet, intellectual property like patents, trademarks, personal services like wills and trusts. So they have those. They basically created a website where you could just go fill in a form and then get these legal documents for $300 instead of $3,000. And so
interesting.
Frank is on our board of advisors, and I often describe work done as LegalZoom of management consulting, because in the U.S. everybody knows LegalZoom.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
interesting.
very good. So I guess you've had questions all the way through, but
Yeah,
we can ask some more questions if you like.
yeah. So for the moment, I stop here, and maybe the audience is going to have some questions. So that was the recording. I hope you could understand what we wanted to show. Does anybody have any question? I see Thierry. Are you there? Maybe not. I don't know. Doug, do you have any questions? So if nobody is here, what I'm going to do is present Advanced Factories, which is a big trade show around Industry 4.0. It's from from May 5 to 7, 2026, of course, in Barcelona. It is all about industry automation using robotics, AI, uh, any other exponential technologies. Of course, yacht is Internet of Things is very big. Sensors, anything that is automating and making the factory smart. And as I said in the recording, um, that's more like for the factory floor. And I didn't hear about these solutions, like focusing on manufacturing companies, like industries, to automate their back office. It's an interesting combination, and I'm going to connect Joe to the event as well, the event director that who couldn't come. But there's another event in June that maybe Joe can come. Yes, Thierry, thank you very much. Yes. There's another event called Digital Enterprise Show, which is more focused on digitization and exponential technologies, including AI, of course, if not digital twins or more sophisticated digitization, whatever it is. And maybe maybe Joe can come to explain how he digitized all the back office of the the manufacturing company, something like that. So if anybody is interested in these events, Global Chamber in Spain has an agreement with the event organizer. They are providing us with premium VIP pass, and there are hundreds of dollars. So if you're a member and if you're interested in either advanced factories or digital enterprise show, please contact us. We can talk. And for the digital enterprise show, we are flying Yuvika, who presented her consultancy business several months ago here. She's coming from New York City to Malaga. The Congress is flying so that she can give a keynote speech at the CEO summit. So there are opportunities as well, and other people coming as well from maybe executive director from Global Chamber Cameroon. Maybe she can come as well. So we are gathering many Global Chamber members and people, professionals around that, talking about digitization. So please contact us if you're interested and take advantage of being a member of the Global Chamber. Hi, Dad. How are you?
Hi, Yuka. Congratulations on putting all that together. I guess you're going to be at the show, right?
Yeah, I am going to be at the show and I'm helping them to execute. I moderate several sessions and introducing speakers, maybe. So that's what I'm going to do. Advanced Factories is easy because it's in Barcelona, but for Malaga, I'm going to go from 8th to 12th to receive members and some people who are around Global Chamber are coming as well. So why not coming to Malaga, Doug? Yumika is coming.
It sounds like she's amazing. She's
Yeah,
really
she's amazing. Yeah, yeah. So anyways, thank you very much for the opportunity to present this. And next month, I still don't know what we are going to present, but we keep on going. Yes. And thank you very much, Thierry, to be here. And thank you for the comments. Okay, so that's about it. And see you next month. Thank you.
thank you, Yuka. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.